Hello and welcome back to Brit Does Baseball Does podcast. It's George here and I'm here with Gaz. How's it going, Gaz?
I'm all good. Great introduction, by the way. This is George's first intro, and we think all of the new roster additions need to do an intro by themselves, and that was nice and succinct. And big fan of your work, George. Keep it up. Well, I'm doing good. How are
Thanks.
you?
Yeah, no, I'm doing all right, thanks. I'm doing all right. I led with loud and to the point, so that was my plan. But yeah, no, I'm thrilled to be here. Really exciting episode that we got today. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we're coming at you with an introduction. Not an introduction. We've had the introduction. We're coming at you with an interview episode. Sorry, I've had a nightmare week at work, so I may be very quiet for the first half of this recording. But we've got a really special interview today. This person joining us is a European champion, going to be a World Cup participant, and was just drafted for the inaugural Women's Professional Baseball League, which is going to be happening in 2026 later on this year. So we're just going to talk to her about everything, basically. Take the time as we can use it. So please welcome to Brit Does Baseball, Laura Hirai. Hi, Laura. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Gary and George. How are you guys?
Good, yeah, good. It's a pleasure to be talking to you. It's really great.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I guess it'd be good to start off with just to kind of chat through your history with the sport. I know a little bit just from kind of reading background and interviews and stuff, but tell us like how you got into baseball, where you first found it, like what your introduction was with the sport.
Yeah, so I was born in the UK, and around when I was about 6 years old, I moved to Japan for my dad's work. And I was already into sports. I was playing a lot of football and all these other kinds of things that I guess kids do when they're young. I was running around a lot. And I saw on the telly baseball. It's very popular in Japan. They're playing it throughout the spring, the summer. It's, I guess, the football of Japan. And I really wanted to give it a go. And fortunately, near where I lived, there was a batting center. So I went to the batting center a lot with my parents, and I bought my first glove, and I was playing catch with my parents as well. And that's where I basically fell in love with the game. And I guess as well, there was a baseball field right around the corner too. So I got to watch the Yakult Swallows. They were my local team, you could say. Back then, I don't think they did quite well. But I guess when you're young, you don't really know the wins and the losses. It's all about the energy, the excitement. And I think that's what really got me into it at the beginning.
Yeah, I can imagine going from being in the UK to Japan, where there's like such a massive baseball culture, and then back to the UK. It must have been a bit of a shock to kind of come from having all that baseball around you to then having not a lot of baseball around you here.
Yeah, 100%. So when I came back, I was about 11 years old, and I really wanted to carry on playing, and I had no idea, or neither my parents knew that there was an opportunity to even play in the UK. But fortunately, near where I lived in London, there was the London Mets. We had a youth program that I was a part of. I think it was still pretty much the early days of the Mets in terms of its competitiveness. But it was such a welcoming environment, a lot of local people, mixture of people of all cultures. And that's where I think I fell in love with the game even more, the fact that I actually got to play. Because in Japan, I didn't really play for a team. I just, played with my parents, went to the batting cages, learned the sport from watching the game. But it was the first time in London that I actually got to play the sport.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I know kind of from kind of reading your background as well that like you were involved in setting up the first women's baseball game in the UK in 2017. When I read that, I actually couldn't believe it was that late that was the first women's baseball game. That must have been a pretty crazy experience.
Honestly, yeah. When I was 11, it was about 2011. I didn't really realize I was the only girl playing baseball. There was, a couple here and there, and but I didn't really see baseball as a gendered sport. I think when you're that young, everyone looks the same, everyone feels the same. We're all kind of the same level, just trying to have fun. And I really had fun back then, and I never really thought that I would end up, I guess, having a platform, you'd say, to want to grow the sport in more ways than than I thought, really. So yeah, in 2017, that whole initiative to get more girls playing baseball, I never thought that would actually become a thing. But I'm so grateful that people showed up, and I think it was truly a stepping stone to all the great things that have come since then. I'm just amazed about the growth that we've seen in women's baseball from 2011 to 2017 to now. It's amazing, and I'm really proud to have been a part of that and to have seen so many people grow into the sport as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And before that, you know, you were involved with the GB setup and playing with the other team. Like, was it a challenge being the only girl on the team, being the first, or were they kind of welcome you with open arms? What was it like?
It was definitely a challenge. I won't brush over that in any way. It was definitely hard. I didn't just because I was a girl doesn't mean that the coaches, were babying me in any way at all. They were being brutal to everyone, and that included me as well. And I think that's what made me a great or a better athlete today, because I was being pushed at such a young age, and I was being surrounded by incredible athletes in the GB program back then. And I honestly think that set the standard of what I believe was gonna take us to the next level. And I truly believe right now in the current women's national team program, that kind of standard is being set. And we're trying to not settle for less, which I strongly believe was the I guess the motto, or the energy or the environment that was being kind of created back then as well. And yeah, I've been told, even though I might have had imposter syndrome back then, that I was selected for the under-18 Great Britain national team based on my abilities and not for any other reason. So I did get some negative comments, and why is she on the team and not my son? Those comments were definitely present back then, but I tried to do the walk and not just talk the talk.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those kind of comments, like you get that in every single sport, like when there is kind of like gendered things, like people who are kind of insecure or like not used to it, like that often comes up. But like you say, if it's an elite program, then they're not going to kind of give out places to just anybody. Was it kind of an interesting experience? Were your teammates always kind of supportive and like, or were they also thinking like, why is she here? What's she doing?
Honestly, from my perspective at least, I had the best teammates that I could have ever asked for. All the boys around me were amazing, and they saw me as a player. They didn't see me as a girl, and I think growing up playing in that kind of environment allowed me to stay in this environment. I think if there was any kind of negativity, I'd feel it immediately, especially when you are the only girl in that kind of environment. You will feel it because you're already thinking it in your head anyway. So the fact that my teammates and the whole coaching staff were very supportive and again pushed me is truly the reason why I'm here talking to you guys today, because of them. So it's awesome to see a lot of them, still being a part of baseball, whether it's as a coach, still playing. I really think that generation of players were an incredible group of men, and I'm so grateful that a lot of them are still my friends too.
Yeah, no, that's so nice. That's so nice. How do you think the sport has changed like since that? Because obviously we still think of it as being fairly new here in the UK. Like, how do you think it has changed even in the short time that you've been playing it? Like, sure, relatively, but how do you think it has changed?
It's definitely grown immensely. I mean, just from a general perspective, you've got the MLB playing their regular games here in the UK. I think that's done an immense job in terms of getting more people involved, a greater audience to learn the sport and fall in love with it. And it just seems like there's more people involved, more people wanting to play. And I think that comes with more teams needs to be created, more clubs needs created. It seems like everything's kind of feeding off of each other and growing synchronously. it's really exciting to see across the whole of the UK, not just in London, but even the southwest, up north. It definitely feels like it's growing, and obviously with that comes the women as well. Seeing a lot more girls playing the sport too. Again, I never when I was 11, 12 years old, I never thought it would be a thing that there would be a women's league, that there'd be a Great Britain women's national team. I thought maybe when I was much older, I'd be coaching a women's national team, not being a part of it as a player. So yeah, it's crazy to see how fast things have changed for the better. I do think that the youth programs can still improve a lot more, but there's a lot of amazing volunteers and people out there who are working their butts off to make sure that the next generation of players are also getting an opportunity to play at the highest level, go to college in the US, whatever their dreams are. I think there's definitely there's no dream that's too small or anything like that. They can dream big right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And speaking of the women's team, obviously the European Championships recently. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was so cool to see it, and the games were so dramatic. Do you think that like the close, because obviously a way to grow the sport and like to get people interested is to have these games that are so close and like go down to the wire. It must have been an insane experience to be a part of, like not just one of those games, but like two of them on the same day as well. It was crazy.
Yeah, it definitely was crazy. I mean, that's what makes baseball fun, right? You just never know what's around the corner. The next pitch could be, the game changer. You just never know what's coming your way, literally. So, I mean, you just have to be ready every time. And everyone on the team, including the staff, we were ready. You can tell from the way we played that we were ready to win the whole freaking thing. And we absolutely did that. And I'm so proud of every single one of us, because it took every single one of us and the whole British baseball community, I think, to win that gold medal. So I'm so proud to have been a part of that, and I guess reaping all the benefits that have come with it. But we know that we have the World Cup coming this year, later this year. So it's celebrate, but now we move on and get on with the next task at hand.
Yeah, I mean, the tournament itself, like, I know that the rankings aren't a perfect science, but like going in, technically, like countries like Czechia and France were ranked above GB going into the tournament. Like, did you guys feel as though you were underdogs? Did you feel confident that you were gonna win? Like, how did you feel going into it?
I definitely think that other teams probably thought we were underdogs, just given the first time we ever were part of the European Championships was 3 years ago now. Is it 3 years ago? Or I guess approaching 4 years ago now, where we came fourth out of four. So we knew we had a point to prove, and we knew that we probably could have won at that time too. So there was a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of hard work that we were putting in to make sure that we didn't feel the way we felt back in 2022. So I'm sure the other teams maybe were thinking, maybe they'll bottle it again or whatever they might do, but we made sure that that wasn't the case. And I think that our first win, where we beat the French, considering the other team that beat us in 2022 to kick us out of the medal run, that was such an amazing feeling to get revenge in the best way possible.
Yeah, no, 100%. And looking ahead, like now to the World Cup, again, you guys, you probably won't be seen as favorites, like compared to countries like the US and Japan. But do you think, like having had that experience now, you can kind of go in as underdogs and put up like a proper fight against those countries who've had a lot more experience?
100%. We have absolutely nothing to lose. I know I'm gonna go out there and, well, if I make the team, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have a lot of fun. But I'm gonna make sure that I stay present in the moment, do everything that I can from now until the World Cup to be prepared mentally, physically, tactically, and make sure that I'm ready for my teammates as well. Because I want to be in the best condition for them, and that'll make sure that at least we're prepared as a whole team. So if we're all doing our job, if we're all working hard right now, which I know everyone is, we're putting ourselves in the best position to be successful at that tournament. Doesn't matter who we're playing against, if it's Japan or the US or whoever it may be. We're going to put our best foot forward, and we're going to show the way that we play, the GB way. And I'm really excited to show the world that, because I don't think they know what's coming.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. I love international baseball. Like, it's such like a different game, and like it's such a different way to watch it, and like the way there's like players are so passionate playing for their country rather than club. It's gonna be so cool. Are there any teams that you really want to face, like in the group stages?
I mean, I'd love to face the best of the best, so that's probably Japan and the US. I mean, we see them on the telly and, or on streams and stuff, and they play amazing baseball. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch, and to witness that with my own eyes and actually face them, I think is going to be an incredible challenge. Whether I'm successful or not is whatever it is on the day, but I'm going to make sure that I'll be looking at whoever's pitching in the at their eyes, and tell them that I'm ready to face them, and I'm not afraid. So I'm really excited for that moment.
Nice. Looking at the team, obviously we don't know who's going yet and the squads. But like looking at players who had really great tournaments at the Euros, like yourself and Natasha Romanoff and players like that, like who are the other players you think people should like have an eye on ahead of the World Cup, like from the GB team?
I mean, everyone has had a part to play in the success of the Euros, and even if their name wasn't on that starting lineup, they played a part, whether on the bench or where they came in relief or later on in the game. So honestly, everyone's going to be a threat at whatever capacity that is. I think you saw that the MVP and the Best Pitcher awards at the European Championships was Chloe Sutcliffe and Dee. So, I mean, they're probably big names to look out for, given that they got physical awards to show for their successes. But honestly, everyone's got a gold medal around their necks, so everyone's got a part to play. So I'd say look out for everyone, because we're all coming. Yeah.
Nice. No, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. We don't know yet where. Do you know yet which group you're? Because it's split into 2 locations, right? You don't know which.
Yeah, as of right now, so early February, we're still not officially confirmed in terms of location or dates. But we're making sure that whatever date it will be, we're gonna make sure we peak at that time, and make sure that we plan accordingly towards that. And we're doing that as a whole team. We're making sure that we prepare at the right moments for this year.
Nice, nice. Gaz, don't know if you have any questions on the World Cup or anything around that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Laura, I know George just said it, but only one out of the 3 of us can say that they're a European champion. And as much as I wish it was me, unfortunately, it's not. So massive congratulations. We had some of the ladies, before and after the Euros, sort of come on here and talk about their experiences. We had Una and Gabri from Gabri, part of the London Mets. I'm part of the London Mets as well, so sort of knew her a little bit personally. We had those guys on before, and we had Saskia and I think it was Laura. It's gonna hate me, but I forgot who did I have on after. Anyway, and they just all spoke about like the shared experiences and how cool the Euros were as a tournament. I guess looking big picture, because we're a British baseball based podcast. What do you think that these events like the Euros and the World Cup participation, what can that do for women in baseball in the UK going forward? I'm not worried about the rest of the world at the moment. I'm just focused on the country that I live in. So what opportunities has this opened, and where do you see the game going in the future?
I think I'm kind of hinted on it earlier, but it honestly just gives girls, anyone really, to dream big. I think when you're young and you want to look up to someone and they're not there, it's hard to kind of believe that there's an opportunity out there for you. But the fact that there's now a Great Britain women's national team, the fact that we've won European championships, and the fact that we're now going to the World Cup, it just shows that there is opportunities out there for you to play, that there's opportunities to dream, and to achieve whatever you want to achieve, and not settle for less. I always worry that girls who play baseball here in the UK are settling for less, that they are not given a lot of opportunities to play or play the position that they want to be playing in. And I think when they see girls playing in, on different teams across the country, and they're seeing them, absolutely crush baseballs against these men, and playing really good baseball because they're really good at baseball. It's inspiring. It inspires me, and it just makes me want to do more. I think at the end of the day, we win medals, we participate in these things, but if there's one girl out there who sees that and wants to get involved in baseball, I think that's the most accomplishing thing out of everything that I'm doing right now. It's not just about winning medals and representing my country. It's also inspiring the next generation. So I'm really grateful to be a part of that, and I know everyone else on the national team is doing the same thing.
Nice. I apologise. The name of it was Saskia and Sophie Willis. I had on my podcast after Europe, after the Euros. I apologise, Sophie, for listening to this. It's been a long week at work, but they were great interviews nonetheless. I guess kind of my last question before I think we head to halftime is, where do you feel? We're going to talk about the World Cup. How do you think Great Britain are going to match up against these teams? Because the Euros, I think the Netherlands. Is it the Netherlands or the Czech? Anyway, we said before where Great Britain weren't the favourites going into the Euros, and you had a couple of close games, but then you also I think you understated. You absolutely obliterated the French ladies in the first game, like 11-17-0 or something like that. So how do you see the Great Britain team matching up in the World Cup with teams like the US and Japan?
I mean, on paper, we definitely know that we might not be the strongest team of those names, but we're going to prepare as much as we can. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that once we're in that batter's box, once we're on the field, we're giving 100% and we're playing our way of baseball. We're going to take it to them. We're not going to, we're not going to suck is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's not happening. We know what our roles are on this team. We know what we're going to be doing, and I don't know what that's going to look like on the field just yet, but we're preparing as much as we can now, and giving us the best possible chance to compete against these teams, and we're going to take it pitch by pitch. I'm really excited to see what we do, and go from there, really.
Fantastic. And from everyone here at Brit Does Baseball and all of our listeners, obviously, we're going to wish you the best of luck. We are rooting for you. And it will be great if you guys can, nick a win here or there, or even go all the way and grab a medal. That would be fantastic for Great Britain. We're going to pause for halftime. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Women's Professional Baseball League. And one out of the three of us has been drafted in that league. I bet you can't guess who. We'll find out after the break. Hello, welcome back to a Brit Does Baseball Does podcast with an interview with Laura Hirai, who, out of many things, is a European champion, future World Cup participant, and also a draftee in the inaugural 2026 Women's Professional Baseball League. So, really, really excited to have her on, and glad she hasn't run away at half time. We on these podcasts, I'm not very good with editing software, so for you, it's probably been about 2 seconds since you've not heard one of our voices, but we chatted for a couple of minutes just about baseball in the UK, different teams, and how the London Mets are, the greatest franchise Britain's ever seen. That I said that wasn't Laura. I'm just putting it out there. Anyway, we would be amiss if we didn't talk about the Women's Professional Baseball League. So a little bit of background to those of our viewers who may not have heard of it. And if you haven't, go and look it up. There's loads of information. They've got their own website. It's fantastic. The tournament is being played this upcoming summer, I believe in July and August 2026. It's being held, all the games are being played in Robin Roberts Stadium. That's a nice alliteration, in Springfield, Illinois. There are 4 teams. It's a 30 game season. And the 4 teams are Boston, New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. There was a 120 player draft held back in November, December. And Laura here was drafted in the 5th round as a right-handed pitcher. So I guess my first question is, how did it feel to be drafted?
Gary, I don't think it's still hit yet, honestly. I think the drafts were happening at 2 a.m. our time in the UK. I was actually fast asleep at that
Oh,
point,
okay.
so I missed the drafts, and honestly, I wasn't even expecting it. And so when I woke up to a million messages, I had a feeling that it might have been good news. But yeah, honestly, I can't believe that I've been selected, let alone being considered to be a part of the draft in the first place.
Yeah.
It's an elite group of amazing women. And just to be amongst those names is an absolute honor, and I never thought I'd be in that position. It's all credit to the people around me, that all those long nights at Finsbury Park, and
Yeah.
playing catch with my parents. It all accumulated to that one moment, being drafted, and again, I never thought I'd been selected.
Nice. You've been drafted by Boston. Sorry, I've missed out the team. So Boston's your new favorite for at least the next couple of months. Just want to sort of run it back before the draft. There were playouts. There were tryouts that took place in August. What was that process kind of like? Did you take part in the tryouts?
So I actually didn't go to the
Okay.
tryouts themselves. I did a virtual tryout, you could say, just
Okay.
sent some video. But there were other teammates of mine who did go there, and apparently it was an amazing experience seeing all these amazing women all in one place, trying out for spots. So yeah, it seemed like an amazing experience just to be there, and even putting a video out, it felt very, very legit. It felt like I was doing the college recruitment process all over again.
And how was it like doing a virtual workout? Because when you're the tryouts there, the coaches are there in person, and they can sort of see the intangibles. How you're acting around other people, around the coaches. Even though it's just a tryout situation, I'm sure that everyone's friendly. I'm sure there's stuff that they pick up on, like, oh, this person's going to be a great teammate, or on the flip side, oh, this person might be a little bit of a dick, so maybe let's see if someone like New York will draft them. How was the process of sort of doing the virtual workout? How did that work out? Was it just someone filming you taking reps locally, or was it like a live game? I can't think of the words, like game, like watching you play the game. How did that work?
Yeah, fortunately, I was filming a lot of the games that we played throughout the season last year, so I had a lot of game footage that I used playing against a bunch of guys,
Yep.
whiffing out my pitches sometimes. So I just sent a bunch of that really. They requested a few things, they wanted side angles and views from behind and in front and whatever, but I just sent that and prayed really, because that's all I could do.
Nice. And then we get to the draft itself, and you've already said you were fast asleep for that. Which, if I was in your position, nothing but respect. I'd be up like a Duracell battery rabbit. Just can't get to sleep until I've seen all the names go through, and then probably wouldn't get any sleep that night. So, I guess what was the first inkling of news other than all of the messages? Did someone from the Boston organization drop you an email or a phone call? How did that work exactly?
Funnily enough, so when they made the announcements on the stream, they had like a little section after they mentioned your name, and they'll say oh, thank you, or whatever speech they wanted to say. We had to film that prior to the draft, so you had to pretend when filming that video of you getting selected. You had to pretend that you actually got selected, so that was interesting to film prior to the day, because you might not be selected. So that was the one thing that I remember doing just before the announcements. So that was a kind of a fake reaction maybe that you saw, but because I was asleep. But yeah, honestly, it was just the messages from everyone, and nothing from the team itself. We got like a message after that. All the drafts were announced, but apart from that, nothing from the officials, but lots from my family and friends.
Nice, and it's fantastic. Only 120 women were drafted, so and there were 600 people that took part in the tryouts. I imagine there were a lot more like yourself that did the virtual workouts. So to be in that inaugural class, congratulations. There's only 120 people can say they were drafted, and you're one of a few. So it's fantastic. what's the season going to look like? So the season starts after the World Cup, so in August. How does that? Where are there like training camps before? How does that look like? Because if we take the MLB for example, they have their spring training. Even if you take someone like the London Mets, they do sort of the winter training, spring training. How does that work for Boston going forward?
So there's no training together as a team. Actually, we are supposed to just show up and play. So
Okay.
I think it's going to look interesting. I think it's going to be exciting to experience that whole thing. It's going to be a bit of a culture shock, I think, as well. But yeah, they haven't shared a lot of information on it just yet. So I think when the world finds out, I think we might find out too. So in terms of my knowledge, it's a bit limited, but it does seem that yeah, it's from August, so we show up then if you're needed. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to make sure that I'm ready at least for my name to be called around then.
Nice. And have you sort of been in touch with any of your teammates and sort of got to know them already? Is there sort of I'm assuming there may have been a group chat started.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few of them. I've spoken to a bunch of the international ones.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the Australian players on the team,
Yeah.
just from other walks of life. And yeah, it's exciting to be a part of such an international crew who have all done incredible things. It's amazing to be surrounded by those kinds of people too. Just seeing what they've been up to in the world of baseball. I know they've probably had to overcome a lot of challenges themselves. So to be able to relate to that and also see, how much success they've had on the other side of that as well is really inspiring. And I'm excited to call them my teammates soon.
Nice. And is there anyone that you're really excited to face off with an at bat? So, you're on the mound. There are some big names on this list. You got Kelsey Whitmore, who I know is more of a pitcher. You've got the legend Ayami Saito. I'm hoping I've pronounced that correctly. Is there anyone that you're really looking forward to when you step on that mound, then to have an at bat against you?
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey Whitmore's the number one overall pick, so you definitely want to figure out how to strike her out or get a hit off or whatever it might be. And who knows, we might face her at the World Cup too. So any opportunity that we can get to face someone as amazing as Kelsey is going to be pretty cool.
Nice. And because we haven't really touched on this yet, you're a right-handed pitcher. What's your put away pitch?
My go-to is the curveball. It always has been.
Fantastic. Are we talking like just 12-6? It starts in the zone and just dies at the end.
It has a world of its own. I don't know how it comes out of my hand, but somehow it just gets people sometimes.
Yeah, I think at the level I play, I think we faced one guy who had a curveball, and it sort of started top of the zone and ended in the middle. And I'm not going to give a name, but someone else on my team faced him, and basically the curveball came in, and he just ended up falling on his ass because it just completely put them off. So I love people that swing and miss at curveballs. It's one of my favorite pitches. It's knuckleball and curveballs. My second one, just the movement you can get on it. Sorry, it's a little personal anecdote there. Going back to WPBL, what's your hope sort of coming into the tournament? How do you want to perform? How do you envisage your role being? And then I guess afterwards, do you see what do you see the future for the WPBL itself?
I think in terms of the bigger picture for me, it's just winning. Well, obviously, Boston, we want to win, or, regardless of the city, or the MLB teams that might be part of that city. I still want Boston to win. So I'll do whatever my role is within that team as a pitcher. I'll make sure that I play my part and we find success that way. And in terms of the WPBL, I mean, it's the first season. It's already, mounted a lot of praise, and the whole world's watching. It's clear that the whole world's watching, and it's only the first step. I think it's amazing that we've got this first step now.
Yep.
It's now just building on that step and seeing how much it can grow and seeing how much it can continue to inspire that next generation of people to get involved, invest in the sport. And it's not just women, obviously, it's going to be men too. It's just like, football here in the UK, but we need men to back the sport just as much as women. and I think it's going to be that kind of long-term vision that I foresee for something like women's baseball, and WPBL in its inaugural season, it's in a great position to do that.
No, it's fantastic. And as we said, kind of, it seems like the organisers haven't gone too far with it. They've only got the 4 teams, 120 players. You know, they've secured one stadium to host the entire thing. I think that's a really good starting point, because then once you get more interest and more players, more, you know, ultimately, and I hate to say this, more money, you can then maybe start to host games in other cities. You know, maybe you see the growth of like someone, even like the independent ball leagues, where they start with like 8 teams and they expand to 10, 12, all the way up to the MLB. You know, they're looking to expand 2 more teams in the future. It seems like they've done it in the right way, and it's going to be exciting to watch. And yeah, I didn't think I'd say this being a Cubs fan, but good luck to Boston in the WPBL. We'll be rooting for you. I think coming to near the end of the interview, I'll hand it back to George in a second, but then we can't let you go without a start bench cut. It's a Brit does baseball tradition, and I know that George has got a good one for you. So George, over to you.
Yeah, obviously you are now a representative of Boston. A lot of weight on your shoulders for that. I know you were at college around the East Coast, so you have some kind of familiarity with that part of the world. But for the start bench cut, I thought we could do things of Boston. So between these 3 things, you have to start bench cut Dunkin' Donuts, Wally the Green Monster, mascot of the Boston Red Sox, and the famous Boston accent. So which of those are you gonna pick?
Oh, well, I think I'm definitely starting Dunkin', because America runs on Dunkin', and I definitely ran on Dunkin' when I was in college. And I mean, I think I'll bench Wally, because I think he you know, he has a good presence, always brings the fun. And I'm not sure the Boston accent is fun. Sometimes it comes off a bit naggy. And probably half the people find it annoying, or you know, they always make fun of it. So we'll get rid of them, and we'll keep Wally.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, there's a lot of international players on the Boston team, so it might be hard to communicate if everyone's speaking in a Boston accent, like
Yeah.
park in the car. So yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Nice. So that was a fantastic start bench cut, George. That was your first start bench cut, given the option. So fantastic. That was a really. I didn't see the Boston accent coming, and I know you messaged me before with 2 of the options, and then when you said the accent, I went, "That's going to be very divisive for people in Boston." But I love it. Laura, you've been fantastic. Before we let you go, you've done your start bench cut, so it's only fair we give the opportunity to plug whatever, whoever, whenever, other words, whatever you'd like. So anything you'd like to advertise for the people?
Yeah, no, firstly, thank you again, Gary and George, for having me. Really appreciate your time, and just chatting. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, if there's one thing that I wanted to mention, you know, as a Great Britain Women's National Team program, we're fully self-funded. So we're very grateful for the donations that we got to help us win that European gold medal. But in order to prepare for the World Cup, it's going to take even more amounts really to make sure we're fully prepared for the tournament. We want to be as prepared as possible. We have some trips coming up. We've got a spring training camp in Amsterdam coming up in a month or so, and some other tournaments here and there throughout the summer prior to the World Cup. And any way that the community could support us as a team to inspire the next generation to keep winning at these tournaments will be really appreciative. And really thank you so much for those who have really backed us and supported us to get us here today. But we still got a bit more to go, and you know, our goals are still there, and we still want to achieve it, and we won't be able to do it without you guys. So yeah, that's my little plug. Thank you.
So one of the most worthwhile plugs we've had on here in a while. Yeah, guys, go and support the Great Britain women's national baseball team. You can follow them on Instagram, I believe other social media as well, but I will obviously tag the Great Britain women's Instagram account when we post this on Instagram and YouTube, etc. And yeah, they've got a donate here link, I'm sure, and click on that,
Yes.
give them money, and let's see them beat the Americans. That'd be fantastic. And if Laura said if they beat the Americans, she'll come back on the podcast and show off the medal for half an hour straight. It will just be Laura holding up her medal like this.
I'll bring the whole team. We can all just cover the whole background medals.
I might need to invest in better software. Love your StreamYard, really. Laura, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. George, on your first episode that hasn't been you as a guest or doing an obscenely high number of quizzes, it seems, you've been fantastic with a great Star Bench Cup. All I have to say is I've been Gaz, George has been George, Laura has been fantastic. This has been a Brit Does Baseball Does podcast interview episode with Laura Hirai, WPBL draftee, European champion, World Cup participant, and all-round baseball legend. You've been fantastic. We'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you and goodbye.